Are economists dumb, or are we the dumbasses that listen to them? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, March the 27th. Jesus, how the time flies. I guess it's the older you get, the faster it goes. And March Madness has been truly March Madness, as we saw Purdue get knocked off by St. Peter's, the first 15 seed ever to reach the tournament, and we are killing it as well. So it can't be better. And of course, we're hoping. Our big lucky play would be a Houston-Arkansas final. But in the meantime, as I asked, are we dumb or are we listening to economists that are dumber? Okay, and I would have to say, which I've said for years, that the economists are the dumbasses in the world because they continue to convince us of stuff that is either years old or laughable. And the latest out of the economists are that housing new home sales are going to increase rapidly. And we can see, if you want to tie that together with the number of delinquencies in mortgage payments, it's kind of hard to believe that we're going to see new home sales increase. Okay, you got a lot of delinquencies. So how are you going to get to the point of new home sales? Okay, now then you want to tie in mortgage rates that are going bananas. Okay, now I'll give you an example. I had to get a mortgage. Okay, and I priced out a 30 and a 15. Okay, because it's just I want to take money out, and I bought a new home. So I was pricing it out, and the new mortgage homes now are 4.5%. Okay, now again, 4.5% is cheap compared to my first mortgage, but certainly expensive to where we've been in the recent vintage. Okay, and they're only going higher. This is the problem, is they're only going up. And I think when you look at the bigger picture, okay, interest rates are going to Pluto because they're going to have to, because we have, of course, other things we will talk about throughout today and Bubba's Bottom Line. But again, economists are clueless as those things on a bull because they always are looking back using ridiculous models that do not work. Okay, let's face it. Okay. Anybody who depends on the Federal Reserve and what the Fed has done in the history, 109 years, I think it is now, December 13th of 1913, I believe, or something of that nature, they still are using the same crooked models they used then. Okay, they don't do their job. They're nowhere near their mandate now. And they are much more of a political organization now than someone who's supposed to be watching over our money. But if you do read The Creature from Jekyll Island, you will see that very much like George Orwell's 1984, you will see that a lot of things that were written in that book are coming to fruition. Okay, and this was written 30 years ago. But I think there's a lot of things to be very, very concerned about. And of course, we still have the Russia-Ukraine war going on, which is a horrible tragedy. Lost lives for no reason, and you can put the blame squarely on our administration, okay, on our Progressive Party, because this should have never happened. It should have been avoided. We should have been in charge long before, but of course we have given up most of our power and are now begging the murderers for oil, okay, instead of watching and taking care of the world through our force and through not displaying force, but the threat that it exists. And of course, this did not happen under the previous administration. This was under control. But the real problem, besides the obvious, the war, the loss of life, the wasted life, the potential of a nuclear bomb going off somewhere, But the other big problem is going to be the nuclear bomb that is when we don't have food. Okay. Now, you may think that I'm overreacting to the food issue, but trust me, I'm not. Russia and Ukraine supply the world's 1/3 of the world's wheat, plus some very key chemicals for fertilizer. And we're already looking at a potential shortage for next year. You're already seeing shortage at the stores and on shelves. Okay, but hey, let's just keep popping up this guy who needs a ventriloquist to talk, because it certainly isn't going to affect us. We'll have plenty of food. We'll have a special pill. Okay, we'll be in the metaverse having a special pill for dinner. Okay, unless you cut that up like a good steak. Okay, so there's going to be some issues. You're going to see commodity prices continue to rise. Inflation is not going away, kids. You can think it's going away. You can listen to the bullshit that you hear. It ain't going away. It's only going to get a lot worse. Okay, I mean, this inflation disaster is partially, or maybe mainly from the shutdowns of years ago. Okay, from the stimulus checks. Okay, from the lack of not doing business has created this monster, which, of course, we talked about it here when it was going on, that we should have never shut down the economy. We should have never shut down businesses, and people should have been able to exercise their rights, whether or not they want to go out and take a chance of getting the disease. And of course, we know that some of the statistics from the disease are not legit. Okay. Now, I can prove it. I'm not going to prove it here, but I can prove it that a lot of the numbers were not legitimate and BS. Okay. But either way, okay, if we got checked for our temperature every day, everywhere we went, you would see a lot more people having to stay home for being sick. Okay, because people go to work with a cold or with the flu. Look, at the end of the day, yes, it was a very tragic threat that was sent over from China, in my opinion, of chemical warfare. The pandemic was real; it was serious. However, we handled it like a bunch of boobs. Okay, and that does go back to the previous administration as well. So, as much as I thought he was great, I also will say when I thought that he did the wrong thing, and shutting down the economy, in my opinion, was the wrong thing. And we are now witnessing that collateral damage from that. Okay. But you've now got North Korea is now making a Hollywood type movie demonstrating their bombs, their missiles that they're putting out. Okay. And that they're shooting off. Now, again, maybe today they don't have the technology to reach the United States. Maybe today they don't have the technology to really do major destruction. But don't you think that there are enough enemies of the United States around the globe that may be willing to help them out? Okay. Now, again, I don't know that for an answer. I think it's something that we ought to think about. And I think it's something that needs to be controlled. Okay. And I think this is where, again, shows the overwhelming weakness of the current administration. Not to mention the IMBYs continual wanting to drain the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Okay. Now, again, if you don't understand how much oil that we use in this country alone, okay, we use over 30 million barrels a day. Okay. So if he releases another 50 million barrels, so what does that give you? Another day and a half? Do you think that's really going to lower the prices of oil? There's one way to lower the price of oil, and that is simply to go back to fracking and shale producing and quit bullshitting us with this climate change crap. Okay? Because I got news for you. Climate change or no climate change. I'm on the side, I don't believe it. Okay? But if you do, that's fine. But at what cost do we want to worry about climate change? Do you want to go broke worrying about climate change? Do you want to be living on the street? Do you want to have globalization and go through the great reset that they want to go through? Okay. Again, I don't want to go through that. Now, I'm old enough that I'll be dead before it probably all takes place. However, you and your children and your grandchildren have something to worry about. And if you're going to sit there and continue to passively back that bullshit plan, then you really need to have something to look at, because it'll be your fault. Okay. I can't believe that 80 million Americans actually voted for this boob to begin with. Okay. I know we got 86 million, but the 6 million might be in question. Okay. But look, you've got gas going to Pluto. One of my members and friends from Texas, sent me from 2020, gas was $1.44 a gallon. Last he sent me $3.40 in Texas. Okay. Ridiculous. Now, you think that you're going to be able to continue to afford these? We were very lucky that we escaped with a mild winter. And what about the shortage around the globe? Do you think that they're not going to have some issues as well? And we're, we're only in the baby stages of what's going on right here. Okay. But I think that, as you look at our president, he continues to pass the buck, which is a joke. Okay. He blames Putin for inflation. Okay. Now, again, really? Is that who we really want to? Do we really want to stoop that low to be that dumb that we're going to blame him for inflation? Okay. So, you can keep blaming everybody, but you might want to do is look in the mirror. One of the things we do with all of our members, okay, when we talk about trading, you are your own worst enemy. Okay. You need to look in the mirror. And I think it's time for our president, if he can find it, to look in the mirror and decide that maybe he's full of crap and this isn't everybody's fault. Now, again, I don't know if it's him who's speaking or if somebody is speaking behind him and he's just relaying the message. But I will tell you this, okay, that the overall problems continue. And if you don't think a financial revolution is coming, you better rethink. Okay. And it's not going to be for our benefit. Okay. I'm telling you this. Okay. Digital currency is coming. It's coming faster than I thought. We've talked about this for over a year here. Okay. It's coming faster than you think. Okay. That's not good for you. It's not good for me. Okay. You've got the moderates, the progressives that want to go for the Great Reset, globalization. They want to take all your money away. They want everybody to be on the same footing. Now, do you want to work to be on the same footing with everybody else? I thought the American dream, I thought the reason that people came to this country was for the hope to get out of the poverty-stricken shitholes that they live in and come to the greatest country in the world. And they're doing their damnedest to destroy this country. And it pisses me off that we have to continue to go through this because, again, we lost millions of lives over the years saving this country and building this country. And we now want to tear it down, okay, for the Great Reset. Is that for the greater good or is competition good? Okay, just like the swimmers, okay, with with that nonsense, okay, the females, the males that have transgender that win medals or win competitions. Really, that's what we've stooped down to, okay. But you don't think that the soaring food prices and the instability in markets, if you don't think that's going to be a bigger problem, you got something else to think about, okay? Because that is going to be a monster problem, okay? When you look at the bigger picture, okay, and these soaring food prices. Now you look at the bread basket of Egypt, the Middle East. They need wheat. They can't get bread, okay. And again, you go back to Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. Well, that's because there was no wheat. And wheat is a highly political commodity to begin with. So you destruct 30% of that with some ridiculous sanctions, okay, which who really knows how these sanctions actually work, okay? I mean, you got to ask yourself, okay, does it really sound like something that they're going to do? And I don't think so. I think that's a bunch of horse shit. But in the meantime, you've got a food shortage. The grocery stores are empty. The shelves are starting to empty out. Wait till they start going after the canned goods for duration. Wait till the hoarders show up. You got problems. Okay. And again, continue to pay more for your gasoline at the pump. Okay, is that what we want? And wait till you get your heating bills. Wait till you get your air conditioning bills. Wait till you get your barbecuing bill for your gas, your propane. Okay, look, this is not going away. And if we continue to ignore it, we deserve what we get if we continue to ignore it. And it's on you and me to do something about it. If you want to sit there and continue to take this shit, okay, and turn this into a third world country, okay, if you want to be the next Venezuela, than continue being satisfied with the status quo and letting these imbeciles push this country into the toilet. Okay, so it's up to you. We got an election coming up. You think all these magic things that changed, that COVID disappeared, okay, and he keeps releasing from the strategic reserve, okay, and the plunge protection team showed up in these markets, okay, and we'll get to the markets in our market segment. You think this was all magic? This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. We're going to step out here for a break. We'll be right back with our market commentary after this break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, what's up? Markets keep going up, but, I always want you to check out our sponsors. It takes a lot to put this together. And, listen, the world, the environment of trading and investing is a challenging one. And, we try to make it the best for you and help you out where we can. And we've got some great partners. Now, again, I have many brokers, but there are two brokers that stand out in my mind that I use personally. Now, again, I have more than, full disclosure, I've got them with the big guys. Everybody, you can name them, I got on the counter. But when it comes to my trading, for futures and commodities, it's Capital Trading Group. Listen, bottom line, they have the best customer service in the world in this industry. Okay, you call, they pick up the phone. There's no voicemail jail tracing through. They've got great products of their own. They manage all my accounts, and they're the only broker for letter of direction trading for our commodities and futures products. Okay, so check them out. It's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. There's no obligation. Take a look. Maybe you'll like them. Maybe they can do something for you. Okay, and of course, for equities and options, are you kidding me? Trade your brokerage. I mean, listen to me. Okay. I don't care who you're using, and I've got them all. I've got accounts there too. But why would I pay more than $10 a month with anybody? Okay, what are they giving me? Okay, what special do I get to pay more than $10 a month? Now I know some guys that are paying $10,000, $11,000 a year instead of $120 a year. Now does that make sense to you? Okay. In the meantime, we've also got their APIs, which allows us to automate your equity portfolios that you trade through us at no charge. Okay, you still pay $10 a month. You pay your membership to me, okay, for your program, and you get free auto trading from Trader. And if you're a hedger, you pay for the licensing fee, which will still be less than your commissions you're paying. And you don't have to deal with it, okay? Plus the fact they now have cryptos coming out, okay? You can get on their waiting list, cryptocurrencies. Check them out. Try.trader.com/Bubba. That's try.trader.com/Bubba. And of course, our metals partner, listen, I'm a big believer, no matter what position, and we're short the metals right now, but what position I'm in, I'm still buying physical metals. Okay. And I'm going to buy them from Strategic Wealth Preservation. Okay. Why? Because they do a great job. Because when I need something, I call them, they answer the phone again. I love the phone, right? I love when people get back to me. That's important to me. As an old timer, I'm from the school. You send an email, you get an email. You make a phone call, you get a phone call. Okay. But anyways, Strategic Wealth Preservation, swpcayman.com/Bubba-trading. That's swpcayman.com/Bubba-trading. And of course, don't forget our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba-trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba-trading. Let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my market commentary. Welcome back. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, March the 29th. And, listen. Markets, again, we try to teach this. Okay. Markets always have a mind of their own. Okay. No matter what you think. Now, anybody who would tell you that they would honestly want to be long during this market cycle is a liar. Okay. Now, again, we're long. Okay. We were short, we're long. But again, we got chopped up. Again, nothing is easy. But again, if you think that you're going to be able to predict this market, because nobody would think this market is going to, the volume sucks, okay, but yet we keep going higher. But when you've got you've got the chase for yield, okay, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But at the end of the day, here's what you got. So do you really think that this is, going to last? Now, when will it end? Nobody knows, okay. But I still say we're going to see a 50 to 60% haircut. But in the meantime, I'm long, waiting. Okay. And when it turns, I'll be short and I'll be benefiting. Okay. But in the meantime, last week, index is higher, up and up and up. Volume keeps going down. Equities keep going higher. Illogical as can possibly be. It doesn't make sense, but it's not supposed to make sense. Here's what's supposed to make sense. Okay, the price action. All you care about is market price action. Anything else is a waste of time. In the meantime, all 4 major indices were higher last week. We're long them. Okay, gold, silver, both were slightly higher, but they're really stuck in a range. Again, $26 silver, $19.60 gold. Those are the key levels that we need a day or two close above, and then you might see a run from there. Look, long term we're bullish. Okay, it's not like I'm bearish, but I'm only trading. I can trade short term back and forth, and I can still own physical. So no matter what they do, net, I'm always long. And we would be long. We'd be short platinum as well. Platinum is in trouble again. It looked like it was a value. It looked strong, and now it looks like a piece of garbage. Okay, watch 1,000 in platinum if you trade it. Okay, I'm not telling you to trade it, but I do, and I like it. But watch 1,000. Okay. In the meantime, you've got the bonds and notes getting clobbered. Okay, so suddenly, the economists are telling us that there's going to be a housing boom when interest rates are going to be going over 5%. Mortgages are going over 5% soon. But the big thing to watch here, the 10 years at almost 2.5. Okay, now think about this for a minute. You had a lot of money flow into equities because the 10-year was zero. It was 0.3. And forever. All of a sudden, now you get to 2.5%, 3%. Do people start taking their money out and putting them back in bonds, fixed income? So something to think about. I think rates are going much higher, and I think that's the real possibility. In the meantime, we're still short bonds and notes. Okay. Crude oil, again, you had a big sell-off for a couple of weeks, or week maybe, and now we're going back up again. And again, 150 is like almost a no-brainer. There's a shot at 200 here. Okay, we're long. We're still long crude. Okay, or we got short ones for a little bit, and we're back long again. Okay, natural gas. I think this is the highest price it's been in March in 20 years. Okay, maybe longer. I mean, it's unbelievable what's going on here. But again, you keep giving things away. That's what you're going to get. The dollar had a moderate, mediocre week. But again, that you can figure that with a rally. But the fiat currency system itself is all garbage anyway. So we're still long dollars. So, okay. And Bitcoin looks like it may be getting ready to break out to the upside. Okay. Wouldn't surprise me that it makes a big run now. It's churned and burned and sat there for a while. And I think now you might be seeing that next big move. Okay. Copper, a little bit lower. We're still short. It's a challenge. It's been a tough trade. Okay. I mean, again, nothing is easy. Okay. I think you should always remember that nothing is easy. It's a very choppy market, but you want to be prepared and you want to be with the overall price action because that's, I think, is the most important. Okay. And, we look at the grain markets. Look, we're long corn, we're long beans. They look great. Okay, beans are now starting to make that big move we were looking for and breaking out again. Corn's been wild anyways. And wheat, look, we're short wheat at the moment, but I think wheat has a real big potential here. But remember, it went up so fast. It went up like 40% in 4 days. It's going to have it's like backing and filling, and it will get to a point where we should get long again. It'll probably take off. The protein complex, we're short feeder cattle, we're long fat cattle. Okay, and we're long hogs. Okay. But I do think that cattle will become a budget issue for many. Okay, because when you look at it, when you fill up your tank, eat a steak, or fill up your tank, have a pork chop. Okay. Now we got some bird issues and some chicken problems. So we'll see what's going on in China. There's always something in China, but you really never know: is it legit? Is it real? And I think that's one of the concerns that we have to have. But in the meantime, based on just common math, okay, when you have to start deciding, you still got to eat and you still got to put gas to your tank. So that's something to keep an eye on. Okay, and in the softs, cotton, they got to put new limits now on cotton because it's going up so fast. Okay, cotton was up 6 cents the other day, and almost 140. Okay, we're long. Coffee was pretty much flat. We're still short. Sugar was higher. We're long. Okay, and it's going higher. Sugar is also a component in oil in some parts of the world. Okay, kind of like corn for ethanol. And of course, cocoa, pretty moderate. We're still short, and OJ popped again, and we're still long. So pretty decent, pretty solid week. We had a good solid weekend. We've been having a number of good weeks now. We've turned ourselves around and are now having steadier weeks. And I think, again, it's important to understand what the markets are doing. And right now, again, think what you want, but follow the price. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Bubba Horowitz. We're going to step out here for a break, and we will be right back with our commentary and, of course, March Madness. Gotta have March Madness. Be right back. Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. Well, kids, I'm not going to go through and tell you about all the sponsors again, but just look on the bottom. They're scrolling across. Capital Trading Group, Trader Brokerage, Strategic Wealth Preservation, and our high school program. Look, again, please help us support them. At least take a look. Okay, that's all. No big deal. Again, I want you to go happy, be happy where you're at, but why not save money at the same time? In the meantime, we're going to get right back to my commentary. I know you've been waiting for this all day. So let's get back to it right now, to Bubba's Bottom Line and myself, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and my commentary. Welcome back to Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz with you. And of course, every week I give you kind of what I'm thinking. And, it's usually pretty negative because, listen, there's a lot of negative things out there. And I try to be positive and try to have a good outlook. But, our president, okay, his actions with oil right now are almost becoming criminal. Okay. Now, again, obviously they're not, or he couldn't do them. Well, maybe he could anyways, because, listen, maybe he'll pardon himself. But again, the price gouging, he continues to blame everybody but who's really responsible for it, which is the buck stops with him. Okay. Or should, or used to at one point in time in this country. But, again, for him to go out and beg Maduro in Venezuela and to go out to the Mullards in Iran and beg for oil, or open up the strategic petroleum reserve, okay, when simply we have the access to do it ourselves. Okay, we have the workers to do it ourselves. It creates the jobs, but the actions are almost criminal because you are torturing Americans with higher fuel, higher heating bills, higher energy costs, higher costs at the store. For what? For what reason? Because you want to get the global reset. You want to become the president known as the one who brought in globalization, okay, and became one with everybody in the world and give up our power, okay. So the actions may not be criminal, but they're on the borderline of being criminal because he's basically giving us taxation without representation, okay. I think we had the Tea Party over that, and it's now oil, okay, because oil is still, no matter what you want to think about oil, it is still 80% of our economy. Everything, 80% of what you do has something to do with fossil fuels. So again, the next time you fill up, think of your great president as you're pulling out your loan officer to pay for that tank of gas. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, March the 29th. And of course, today we've got two games for you. We've been really hot. Okay. But here is a little tougher. Okay, but we do like Miami of Florida against Kansas. Bill Self is typically a choker, okay, and Jim Larrañaga is a great coach, okay, and we're going to take Miami on both the money line and plus the points, okay, and we do like as a small play because it's a great story. St. Peter's, okay, the first 15 seed to get to the final 8. Let's see if they can be the first 15 seed to get to the final 4. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're a basketball fan, enjoy the game. It's been one hell of a tournament. And we'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. And, of course, next Sunday with Bubba's Bottom Line. Thanks all. Appreciate you. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you later right here on Bubba's Bottom Line.